talk about some more news across the soccer landscape with NWSL, of course. And the first bit of news that we want to react to, finally together in each other's presence, is it's official. The Utah Royals will return to the NWSL in 2024. They are slated to be the league's 13th team. And I feel like we've been chatting about expansion for quite some time. There have already been previous reports pointing to this direction. Shout out to our friend and colleague Jeff Kasuf, talking about Utah Royals and confirming that amongst sources. But now it's officially launched. We saw the league make the announcements, the Utah Royals on their social channels. So they've dusted those off and have resurrected the channels and the handles and have kind of reintroduced themselves. They said, "Hey, not only are we back, but here's an updated brand and logo." And it's very exciting to see another team get added to the league.
Yeah, this is massive. I mean, this is a NWSL club that was part of the league from 2018 to 2020. They did participate in the Challenge Cup, and then after that, they were no longer in this league. So now, as they join, they will become the 13th team in the league. Which is really cool that it not only is the league talking about growth and how they can expand, and there's hundreds of clubs putting in bids to want to be part of it, but the fact that Utah is going to join, we have a date, 2024, they will be the 13th club. That's awesome. This is hopefully going to be, it's almost like a resurgence of the old club while also like forming their own path. And I think that's important to kind of make that distinction. Yes, that it's going to be same name, like same facilities that they played at before, because they're already part of that structure. And that's honestly something that the league looks at, right? If all those bids that come in to join the league, where are these teams going to play? Do they have investors? Is there a fan base there? And the fact that it already existed in Utah with the Royals is a really good place to start over again. But the growth of this league is fantastic. But I'm just going to say, we're getting a lot of teams on the West Coast. We're really getting a lot of teams on the West Coast. What's up with this East Coast side? Where are
I love it. Just say it. Just say it, Lisa. You want a Philly team.
I want a Philly team. I can't sugarcoat it anymore. This is great for Utah. I'm so happy for them. Really, I am. I'm not trying to be sarcastic at all. Happy for them.
Like, I need some more.
Can we get a Philly team? Come on.
Need some more East Coast love. Hey, I'm all about Midwest supremacy. You want to talk about Philly? I want more Midwest teams.
We could use more Midwest teams as well. If you look at like the map of the United States, right? Like the West Coast is just dominant. You got OL Reign, Portland, of course, San Diego and LA, potentially San Francisco, the Bay Area. They just got Utah. Midwest is pretty light. Kansas City, Louisville. I'm going to throw Louisville in there. Chicago.
Yes.
That's about it.
I guess. I mean, I'm trying to just cling to anything here. We're just throwing Louisville in the mix on purpose, I guess. I don't know. But it was cool to see this news drop.
And that means an expansion draft.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? It's the league has said that they are aiming for 2 teams in 2024. So there's yet to be an announcement on a potential second team, although there are markets that have been narrowed down. But I think if you're Utah and you already sort of had some things in place in order to have a path back to the NWSL, you absolutely take advantage of that just because of how the league's growth over the last few years. If anyone's been paying attention to it, I think if you're looking at some of the news around expansion clubs and that price tag to get into the league is very, very, very hefty. So the fact that there was a $2 million to $5 million range for Utah Royals, I think you hear a lot. We've heard a lot from the new ownership group that it was just always a matter of when, not if. So the Utah Royals could have had a path back to the NWSL. I think initially was as early as 2023, but with all the cards on the table, it's going to be in 2024. So it's very cool and to see not only a return, but it's also sort of it's really cool to see how they have launched this rebrand, because it's not just this logo, it's not just the imaging around the team. We're hearing, I think, a different kind of narrative around this Utah Royal side that maybe didn't exist in their previous ownership.
Yeah.
Delor Hansen was ousted as part of the Utah soccer group post Challenge Cup during 2020. Reports of racist remarks and toxic workplace environments, and ultimately MLS got involved, and Real Salt Lake, Utah Royals, Youth Academy, although we're all properties under this
Mhm.
previous ownership group, right? And there was a real question mark about what was going to happen with the Royals, and that was ultimately their path back. That while there was a search for new ownership, primarily on the MLS side of things, it's like, what's going to happen with this NWSL side?
Yeah.
And in came Kansas City Current.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's when Chris and Angie Long got
Yeah,
involved, and they actually bought the Royals from Utah
yeah.
and moved that franchise to Kansas City, and and it became an expansion club
Yeah, so
for
they
the
labeled
local
it as an
years.
expansion side, but I
Yeah,
think, it's cool. It's interesting to note that you have what's considered your more, like, traditional expansion sides, which is here's a new city with a new bid, and they're awarded an expansion franchise. And then in the NWSL, unfortunately, there is a history of expansion absorption, and that's sort of what happened with the Royals in Kansas City. So part of that was in the midnight hour with the Longs coming in to say, yes, we would, we, if this is the path in to expand, we're ready, we want to get going. That meant that all of the branding, all of the trademark, all of that would still be within that Utah's, like, holdings group, like LLC, essentially, for whichever new ownership group came in to Utah. And so when Blitzer and company came into Utah to go ahead and say, yes, we are going to be the new owners of Real Salt Lake, and including the academies, and that will someday include the return of the Utah Royals. It's sort of I think everyone has sort of had their eyes on Utah ever since this new ownership came in. So to sort of hear some of their new ideas, and what they want to do with this club moving forward. They want to make sure that it's a place where players want to come and play. They want to, have great scenes and great environments and great atmosphere for the fans out there. Because at one point, there were always tons of fans at Rio Tinto Stadium where they formerly played.
yeah,
So I think they're eager to sort of make that return with some new, updated, perspectives,
yeah.
moving forward.
And
So
Michelle Heineck being chosen as the team president, who has been part of the Real Salt Lake MLS side of it. But she's a businesswoman essentially that played soccer, played at
yeah,
Harvard, and now is team president, but another female in the higher ranks of these NWSL clubs, which is also good to see, right? Making sure that everyone's vetted correctly and things like that. There's a lot that goes into it, but I think you're exactly right. The foundation was already there for this club to come in. It was just a matter of when and what time.
yeah,
And now we have a timeline, 2024, but which means that in after this NWSL season, right, we get a draft, a college
yeah.
draft, we
There we
get an
go.
expansion draft, and potentially another team joining
Yeah,
in 2024. But only time will tell.
yeah.
For now, we're just happy about Utah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on what that means for Utah in the expansion draft. In the meantime, teams are still sort of fleshing out their rosters ahead of this regular season coming up on March 25th. North Carolina Courage signing all four of their draft picks. I believe they might be the only team
Yeah.
to have done that so far. Unfortunately, there's been a few draft picks from some teams that have been waived already, because some clubs have to narrow down their rosters to a certain number before the regular season kicks off. But
And,
the Courage said, we're rolling
and
so
all
far.
four of their draft picks came in the first round.
Yeah,
Remember, I mean, we've talked about this. We did our draft recap live in Philly, but Olivia Wingate, Sydney Collins, Clara Robbins, Haley Hopkins, all first round picks for the Courage, all signing 3-year contracts with the
yeah,
club through 2025 season. So that's a pretty big deal because it's very hard. It is very hard to be a young player in the NWSL, to let alone get drafted. There are hundreds of players that register for the draft, and there's only 40 some, right? 45 that get picked. So to be drafted, then to make it to preseason, to make it through preseason and actually like be on the roster, and then to get a contract, let alone a 3-year contract. I think there's a little bit of rebuilding happening in North Carolina. I mean, we've talked about the Courage and we previewed them for this year, but the fact that they were able to get Wingate, Collins, Robinson, Hopkins all on a 3-year contract, interesting. I'm excited to see what we see of them this year, but because they're 3-year contracts, I'm almost like, are we going to see so much of them?
No, I'm with you. I think it's an important note to make. I don't know if people understand or realize how incredibly difficult and how hard it is
It is so
for
possible.
draft picks to get invited into their preseason by their respective club who drafted them and earn a contract out of those preseasons. Unless it's been like these sort of standout kind of players, whether we saw like Tanner Davidson going number one in 2019 or Sophia Smith going to like players who you are ready to welcome into the fold immediately. With those exceptions, it's very difficult for players to sort of come in and go from college to make that leap and earn a contract straight out. You've only seen it a number of times, and the fact that the Courage are signing several of them, it kind of maybe signals that this
that year, yeah.
like this is who we're rolling with. Let's go. So we'll see. We'll have to keep an eye on all 4 of those signings in the regular season for the Courage. Former Courage player, Carson Pickett, making it official. There was a trade, right? We talked about that. Carson Pickett, Abby Erseg to Louisville for Emily Fox the other way to the Courage. But Carson Pickett making it official. The former defender signing a 3-year deal with Racing Louisville through 2025. So Racing kind of, making sure that they lock up an experienced player like Pickett for the future. San Diego Wave also making some announcement as well. We're talking about draft picks who are getting their new contracts. Sierra Ing, a U23 USWNT player, also signing with the Wave. This was a player that they traded up for in the draft. So they traded with Gotham FC to make sure that they got that number 13 pick and then chose Sierra with this pick and now getting a contract out of preseason. But, she's not the only one. I believe they also tightened up the goalkeeper position and signing goalkeeper Lauren Brixey as well to the Wave. And shout out to growing up in Chicago and knowing how to pronounce Polish names. Because I know people are looking at that like, how do you pronounce? From my understanding,
say it again for the people in the back.
From my understanding, it's Brixie. So I mean, listen, unless Lauren wants to go ahead and correct all of us in the space who are gonna have to pronounce that last name, by all means, please do. But from my understanding, growing up in Chicago, that's how you pronounce those names, Brixie. Cool. Congratulations to those 2 players. Orlando signing Summer Yates to the roster as well. So congratulations to everyone earning contracts ahead of the preseason. Going to be donning some new kits. I'm sure the players are excited about that as well. And that's called a transition. We're going to talk about some kit fashion now, folks. I know you want to hear our reactions to some of these things. And listen, we've already seen a few kits drop along the way, and we've reacted to some of those as well. I think one of the earlier ones was Houston Dash with their Estrella kit, and we got to see an updated version of Orlando Pride's Luna kit as well. They updated the numbering and the lettering on everything. They introduced black shorts, and we were very, very excited to chat about that. But we've got a couple kits that we want to chat about. And I think it's very cool that both of these clubs kind of announced within the same span of time, because typically these 2 clubs have had some pretty iconic jerseys get released. And we're talking about Portland Thorns and Chicago Red Stars. We're going to start with the Thorns because the reaction to this has been a lot. Let's just say that. And it's pretty clear that there's 2 camps. You either love it or you don't. And listen, I will always be a big fan of the early 2000s. So I love this chaotic energy. I love the chaotic energy. Well, listen, hear me out. I love it in its full presentation. I kind of love that they presented everything. I love the shorts.
Yeah, I
Dude,
like
I
the
really
short.
like the shorts in this. And look, if you love Ed Hardy, if you love Von Dutch, if you love, if you watch Jersey Shore growing up, you love all this stuff. You love all of this stuff.
I
And
can't wait to tell Portland that you just compared it to Jersey Shore. I mean, it's true.
they can watch this and they can see me talking about it. Listen and look, uh, look, I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna show it some love because I gotta ask you your opinion. Which camp are you in?
I don't like it.
Ah,
I do
Lisa.
not like it. It's very, I don't know. So I like the gray. They went with, so they don't have to do an all white kit for their one kit this year. So they went with a little bit of an off gray, and
Yeah.
I really like that. Gray is like one of my favorite colors, so I'm all about that. But I don't know. There's so many cool things that you can do with the thorns and roses, and I just think that this like Ed Hardy like mom tattoo vibe is not it for me.
Ed Hardy mom tattoo vibe.
Right?
I
Don't you
love
think
that.
that it just like on the shoulder, it's kind of hard to see if you're watching us live, but on the shoulder there should be like a mom tattoo, that like
Uh,
the hearts and the thorns that then says mom. That's like completely it.
look, listen. It's I hope everyone who's listening to this does get a chance to watch it on YouTube because we have the imaging up there for everyone rocking Sophia Smith rocking the new kit, the new shorts. I like that too. I like that they said, listen, if we're gonna present this and we're gonna unleash this to the world, you're going to get the full effect. You're going to see it because that's the other side of this too. We often hear that sometimes when a new kit drops and we hear like, oh, not too sure if I'm feeling it, like really not too sure if like that's cool. But you
Yeah.
know what? I need to see it on the player. I need to see it like in action and maybe I'll change it. So listen, they said every single one of these players they're gonna rock the jersey. You're gonna see it on the player. You're even gonna see them in the shorts.
And
But there is.
stop.
Look, I'm not gonna sit here and act like there's not a lot going on. There is.
There's a lot
There's
going
a
on.
lot going on.
There's a lot going on for sure. And I agree. I think the shorts are sick. They are like a thorn color green. And their socks are also awesome. They match the same color gray cream of the jersey with like a cute little design right in the calf. I really like them. They're very simple. But the jersey, I just can't. No, I'm not about it.
I want to hear from the people. If you are down with this jersey, I want to see a rose in the chat. If you do not like it, go ahead and hit me with the X in the chat. Let me know. I want to hear from the people. You're hearing Lisa and I and give our perspectives of it. I'm just one of these things where it's just like is 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 the concept of this jersey so bold that I just have to continue, that I just have to respect it. I cannot hate upon it. Like that's sort of where I'm like in the camp on it, in this where I'm just kind of like, oh, do I is this something that I would wear myself? I don't really
No,
know.
God,
I
you
don't
could not
really know.
catch me in this. I won't wear this. I don't think.
Lisa said no,
I'm
don't you
gonna be honest. And like I'm also like okay with the experiment of it. Like that's the other side I'm in. So
okay.
like no, I don't like this personally. Like I would not design this and I wouldn't pick this. However, I think that like there's a time and a place to explore. And like you have a kit for 1 year. Like you don't have to use it ever again. It's one season like and hopefully in the NWSL there are 100 more seasons of this league and 100 more seasons of Portland Thorns. So like, why not give it a try and go for something? But yeah, no,
All
give
right.
me
Look,
no for me, dog.
I want you to say one nice thing about this. Is there any
I
one
told you I like the cream, I like the gray, I like the shorts, and I like the socks.
I like the shorts and I like the socks.
I
I
don't
like
know.
I'm gonna say that I like the Roman numeral style.
That's pretty cool.
Like I appreciate that. That's the part that I like.
Mhm.
What do we have in the chat? Do we have more roses or do we have more X's?
We got a lot of roses.
Okay. Okay.
A lot of
Look,
roses.
Team Roses over here. I'm with it. Let's pivot. Let's talk about another jersey that dropped really just this morning, shortly before we really went live. Let's talk about the Chicago Red Stars and their new foundation kit. And you already know where I'm coming at from this. I think these are an absolute win. These are the I love the new kits. I like that they're still staying with a black kit. I like that they have their typical
Mhm.
Chicago Red Stars, the iconic Red Stars of the Chicago flag. Still very vibrant and very visible on the kit. And I love that they're sort of a secondary kind of star based on foundation.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah,
love that they always run with a theme.
I do
With
too. I do too. I love a good theme. The foundation they Chicago put out to now in the action of establishing an institution or organization on a permanent basis. They literally just put the definition of it in their announcement of this. And frankly, I appreciate that. I like
Yep.
this kit a lot. I like this kit a lot. It's similar to, I mean, like the black, right, is similar. There's not too many changes. They went away with like the designs on the arms and the shoulders,
Yeah.
and then went with a little more in like the base and the body of the jersey. But I do like it. And I like how they put it out there, right? Of the
Yeah.
players like in their street clothes with the jersey.
Yeah, I also like I'll get more information on this for everyone, but I love the background and sort of I'm not sure if this is Union Station or I'll get
Yeah,
a bit
where
more.
are they, Sandra? Give us.
I'm just looking at the photos right now. They haven't. I'm attending a media day, and we'll find out some more. But I like the imaging. I like how they have them rocking the jersey, but they also allowed players to just sort of be themselves and like wear their own kind of clothing within it. I think that's also very important too. Like when we're talking about kit fashion, right? I think that's also the other component. It's like, would you wear this yourself? Like, is this something that you would wear out like on a casual like social night out with like your friends, or even like a very casual date? That's what I'm gonna ask you. That's my question to you, Lisa. Would
Yeah.
you wear this on a casual bar night out with Jimmy, your fiance? Shout out to my boy Jimmy.
Yeah, actually I think I would with like
Okay.
jeans and like some cute like Vejas, like shoes, like little sneaker
Okay.
action. I honestly like how if you're joining us live, Mallory Swanson, she wore it with like some leather pants.
Yeah.
I'm all about that as well. I think so, yeah, for sure. Especially
Yeah.
like if
And
we're going to a sports bar and like watching games. Yes, totally.
yeah, I love it. I think it's I think it's going to be a hit, but unfortunately in within the announcement of this jersey it says that the jerseys will actually not be available for immediate purchase, and the exact date is going to be determined at a later point this season, but they are offering a pre sale for this kit, and I love that they announced it like I said, with a theme. This is something that the Red Stars have typically done with their jersey releases, and I love with the foundation kit. They're saying that the stars represent the bedrock of the foundational framework being laid as we prepare to enter a new chapter for the club. So, very cool, and excited to see it in action on the players, and get their opinions and their reactions to the kit as well. I remember last year with the skyscraper kit, they were all really really jazzed about that too. So excited to see how their opinions on this one. So we'll see. Love to have new kits for a season to chat about and get opinions about. Listen, if you love the Chicago Red Stars kit, make sure you put a star in the chat for me, because I love those kids. So let's talk about some friendlies, because it's still technically preseason, and we are still hearing about some scrimmages. We're still hearing about some friendlies that are taking place, and of course, we wanted to take the time to chat about Angel City versus Club America. Alyssa Thompson scoring her first ever Angel City goal in this friendly against Club America. Love it, love it, love it. Look, it's preseason. Club America is in season and in form, but on some travel. They definitely have been playing some of these scrimmages against other NWSL sides. I think there are going to be some folks that are going to be like, well, look how much space was given. Look how stretched out that backline was. But look, we're not going to take anything away from that. It was a beautiful goal. It was lovely to see from Alyssa Thompson. Fearless on the turn, taking on defenders head on, and scoring that opening goal. And I know fans who are there in the stadium are probably really, really excited for what's to come for this player.
Oh my gosh, this was amazing. And opening 5 minutes of this match, we get an Alyssa Thompson goal, and not just like, oh wow, like it was a cross into the box and there's a lot of bodies there and she got onto it. No, this was an amazing goal. She picks up the ball like in the center circle, and she's probably got 4 defenders between her and the goal and an entire half of the field. And zoop, she turns on the Jets. That it was really impressive. I mean, I've seen Alyssa Thompson play with Next Pro and with like her U17 team, and I've seen clips of her there. But sometimes it's really hard to see how that translates to the professional game, to NWSL, when you're going up against players that are 10 years older than you, in their prime, in the best in the world, right? That's who she's competing with and against, and to see how she compares. And this opening 10 minutes of the game, like, it did not take long at all for Alyssa Thompson to adjust, to just literally the ease at which Alyssa Thompson ran past 4 Club America defenders and then scored this goal. She also, if you go back and watch this highlight, this is the coolest thing, how close she gets to the goalkeeper. That is so rare, because a goalkeeper, when they go to make that save and the dive, they fully extend themselves, so their entire body length is like horizontal on the ground. So the fact that she gets so close and then can take that touch so wide and still get to the ball, she never loses control of it. I mean, it was really fun to watch. I'm excited for this player. Sometimes it's hard to judge how a draft pick, especially a high schooler that's talking about going to prom, she took an English test earlier that morning or something, how they're going to adjust to the game. And I think that this was pretty impressive to watch Thompson on this play and throughout this little friendly against Club America.
Absolutely. More preseason matches like this to get looks at players ahead of the regular season.